Good morning, members of the convocation and all the students here who are going to receive their degrees today. Welcome here and thank you for accepting me here in this position. When I was in grade 2, the teacher asked the class, "Who wants to become nothing?" So I put up my hand. "Now, how so?" the teacher asked, and I answered, "You know, my grandmother told me that a woman should not become something. They should stay just as God has made them and for what God has made them." But I have to tell you, years later, when I received my first doctorate in theology, my grandmother was there. She was already fragile, but she was there with her multicolored little shoes and a butterfly in her hair. Now, today, in 7 minutes and in 5 points, I want to celebrate life as a career academic in theology, a choice neither my grandma or my mother could make. This is to remind the professors here of the excitement of their careers, and all of you, all the upcoming academics, that this is your future in the academy. 5 points. You know, in my congregation, they call me the 7-point dominie. But today I'll be kind to you and only have 5 points. And you know what's so wonderful about announcing the points is that you know when it's going to finish, which will hopefully be in 7 minutes. Now, the first and the most beautiful thing about being an academic is that you are constantly exposed to the finest minds in your field. In my case, when I was a young lecturer, my colleagues were Professor David Bosch, Ferdinand Deist, Adrio Koenig. Yeah, you remember those names on books, huh? And the first black professors who were appointed at UNISA, they were my colleagues, Professor Simon Maimela and Bonganjalo Goba. And I remember that there at UNISA, the professors, they had a discussion group we called Credo. Credo is the Latin word for I believe. And then we came together and we analyzed each other's faith. Yeah? Is it healthy? Is it probable? Is it applicable? Yeah, and we spoke about politics, you know, the 1980s, 1990s. Good heavens, politics was a dangerous thing. But we, as academics, we didn't shun away from discussing politics, religious behavior in a country where there are so many ways of being religious, and it was always top-notch. No, to be an academic is to walk with the most highly developed and analyzing minds. Now, are you not looking forward to that? Yes, I hear a yes. Now, number two. Secondly, this is a career. An academic career is a career in which you are pressured to develop your mind. Huh? Isn't that wonderful? You are under pressure to develop your mind. You are forced to grow. You can't stay where you are. And the university actually sends you all over the world to go and meet with the global giants and start collaborations. Now, in the Netherlands, I met with Catharina Halkes, and she was the first woman to be a professor in a chair for women's studies in Europe. And then I could sit at the feet of the cream of the circle of African women theologians, Mercy Ambodoyoye, Teresia Hinga, many others. And from them, I learned about moral agency and what it is also from a woman's perspective, and how to look pastorally after those who are not free to be moral. Those who are not free to be moral because they are being held captive by the discourses of a power-happy society. I'm at number 3 already. Thirdly, the wonder of being an academic is that you have to publish. You have to publish. And therefore, in some sense, you are an influencer. We all think we are very, very big influencers, but you know, those guys on social media, they have hundreds and millions of people following them. We as academics, if 100 people would read an academic article, we are ecstatic, huh? Look, people are reading me. But you know, we must never forget this job of being an influencer. Because in South Africa, the religious voice is strong and influential, but it is also so diverse that it is almost impossible to follow. Now, the difference between an academic speaking and writing publicly and a social media influencer is this. We research before we write. We think before we write. And that's not always done by people on the social media, isn't that so? So, because we are disciplined. We are disciplined by being academics. And we can and we should influence government policy on religion and the regulation of religion. I mean, you must understand it's difficult for a country to have one policy on religion and the regulation of religion where there are, at least 40,000 independent churches. There are black churches, white churches, doomsday churches, grass-eating churches, gay competent churches, mailers churches, Satanists, and a multitude of other Godsgroepies. So, this is only one religion of the many we have here, and therefore academics are to give some sort of listenable voice to religion. And as academics, we can and we should also be the voice of the voiceless, of those who are robbed of a dignified life, of women without hope, and even of oppressed men. You know, men really seem to have lost their voice. Men should find their female voice and start talking about their pain, don't you think? Oh, I hear some laughter. Academics are the voice of people living with incurable diseases and have little access to medical care. They are the voice of people living with disabilities, people who live in fear and with anxiety. Maybe people in mining needs a voice. Maybe people in management need a voice. So, because we don't always know about all your fears and anxieties. Number 4. Fourthly, I think the wonder of being an academic is that it's not all about hard facts. It's about facts, but not hard facts. You know what academic work is about and should be about? Is to do it with passion and curiosity. Imagine when you start a new job, and on your worksheet stand, whatever you do it with passion and curiosity. That is what academic work is all about. Passion and curiosity. Gaan verwonder jou aan die wêreld met passie. This is what it is all about to be an academic. Om jou te verwonder aan die lewe om jou. And so I can spend and could spend, some of my academic time being curious about what in religion makes you ill and how religion can heal you. I can be curious about why mothers defend their sons who beat them. I can be curious about how a pastor dealt with young women who sought an abortion during COVID-19. I can be curious about how it affects everybody's health when a man of faith believes the Lord will condomize him. I can be curious about why women turn to covert power, like withholding love or getting pregnant, when they feel they do not have the same power as a man in a relationship. I can be curious about people shift their identities from strong to obedient, from situation to situation, simply to survive. I'm already at number 5. Lastly, the wonder of the career academics life centers around you, the students, because you constantly renew us. A majority of my doctoral students became professors themselves, and so can you. And 2 of them, also moderators, the high heels of our church, Mary Ann Plaatjes van Huffel and Professor Leopold Modise, yeah, they became moderators. And then I had to listen to them because they listened to me first. It is especially a student who calls you 3 minutes past 4 on a Sunday morning to ask whether you have received his next chapter that keep you awake and on your toes. In conclusion, sir, 50 years ago, I finished my BA admission, which it was called in those days. You had to do a BA admission because before you could enroll for a doctorate. And I finished my BA admission with Greek, Hebrew, and Latin as my main subjects here at this university during a time when women were not ordained as dominees in my church tradition. I nevertheless approached the theological faculty here to enroll as a theological student. But I was shown away because I was a woman. And today, with the conferment of this honorary doctorate 50 years later, after I've been shown away, isn't this a joyous overturn? On behalf of my grandmother and mother, for whom it was unthinkable that a woman can become a professor in theology, let alone a pastor, I sincerely thank you, sir.